had to take a nap. We've been doing so much cool stuff that I got overwhelmed. Did you know you could get overwhelmed with joy? So much good stuff. I today am overwhelmed with a good feeling. But, sometimes I can get overwhelmed with bad feelings too, less comfortable feelings. Sometimes, like in the morning when I'm trying to get my kids to get to daycare so I can get to work, and I'm late because we didn't go to bed early enough, and so it was hard to get up, and then they're more interested in playing with toys than eating breakfast, and we have to rush to brush our teeth and put on all of our clothes, and I can't find their nap blankets and their pillows and their stuffies, and I have to get the water bottles and the backpacks and the lunches out of the fridge and into the backpacks, and then I forget to put on sunscreen, and I feel overwhelmed. I love Saturdays because we can get up whenever we want and eat breakfast as slowly as we like, and we can play, and relax, and we get a rest from the rush of daycare and getting to work. When have you ever felt overwhelmed? Do your parents make you feel overwhelmed when they rush you to go somewhere? Or you're trying to learn something new and you keep trying, but it's just not working? Or you just have so many feelings that you have to cry or throw things? When something feels too big, I know I can get overwhelmed. When I start to feel that way, I want to start over. I want a fresh start. Have you ever had the chance to start over fresh on something that was overwhelming? Have you ever taken a break and gotten a rest before trying again? When have you wanted a fresh start? Fresh starts feel good, don't they? When we can have a fresh start, we can feel hopeful about the next step. Imagine how great it feels when you clean up your room and put everything in its place and you can play with toys on this nice empty floor. An empty floor is peaceful, isn't it? Sometimes I feel overwhelmed when I see something that is happening that is not fair or not just. Injustice can be overwhelming. Imagine a rule in your classroom that favored some of your friends, but didn't help you succeed. Like, what if all the blue-eyed kids got to line up first for recess, but you had brown eyes, which you can't change? How would you feel if you were the one with the brown eyes? How would you feel then if your teacher changed the rule so it was not about the color of your eyes, but who raised their hand first, who got to get in line? Would that feel a little relieving, a little more just and fair? When people don't have what they need to succeed or are treated badly, I feel frustration. I feel sad for the brown-eyed kids who didn't get to line up first. I want the rules to change. In those times, I pray for justice. I pray for things to be made right. Our friend Brian is going to tell us a story about God's justice and how it involves something with a really fun word called Jubilee.
Hi everybody, welcome to Vacation Bible School. I've been tasked by Samantha to tell you a little story about God's Jubilee. This is found in Leviticus, which is generally a book of the Bible that has a lot of rules. This is a fun rule, or a good rule. This is kind of like the Sabbath, where God created the earth and all the creation. On the seventh day he rested. In this story, they're traveling through the desert with Moses, and they get to Mount Sinai, and God says to Moses, when you get to the promised land, you work for 6 years, and then you rest for a year. And you don't plant any crops, don't harvest anything. I'll provide for you on that seventh year. And then on the 15th year, you'll have what's called a Jubilee. And a Jubilee is where you are to forgive people who maybe have wronged you, where you are to welcome people from other countries as if they're family, We're here to care for the elderly, care for the sick. Jubilee is a time of regrowth, rebirth. That's a time for everybody to take a step back and reevaluate what they're doing and how they're doing it, and love one another, and really do what Jesus has told us all along to do. But the 15th year is the year of Jubilee, is really when you're supposed to think about who you need to be working with, helping, and loving. So that's the story of God's Jubilee. It's every 15th year, and it's in Leviticus. It's very interesting, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Let's ponder together for a minute. Why are fresh starts important? Why do you think it's important to rest? Why do you think it's important to celebrate? What do we celebrate? And how does this help us share God's compassion? God's compassion is justice. Working for God's justice, making things right, it releases God's abundance into the world. When we rest and help people and the land rest, we show God's justice. When we share our joy, we show God's justice. And when we care for those who need it the most, we show God's justice. These are ways that we can show compassion, seeing and welcoming people, being brave and showing up, loving ourselves, being present with each other, and offering fresh starts. When we do those things, we show God's justice and love and peace in the world. Let's close our time together with our prayer. Joyful Spirit, your loving hands are always creating freedom, release, and fresh starts. Help us do the same today by caring for all living things with gentleness and care. Open us to humbly receive that same care ourselves. Make our hearts smile and our actions sing with the promise of your abundance toward the whole world.